you either approach this two ways. You can't be caught in the middle. You're either a trader and are glued to the screen and like monitoring Ansem and accounts and or you're not. Where you
Yeah.
get slaughtered is like when you're you're just like in the middle and you try to be a trader and you try to be an investor, long-term investor. It's like,
I so agree.
dude,
Yeah.
it's like, don't tell me you're a long-term trader and you're refreshing CoinGecko every 5 minutes. Like you've got it wrong.
This episode is brought to you by Blockdaemon. You'll hear more about them later in today's episode. Nothing said on Empire is a recommendation to buy or sell any investments or products. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and the views expressed by anyone on the show are solely their opinions, not financial advice or necessarily the views of Blockworks. Our hosts, guests, and the Blockworks team may hold positions in the companies, funds, or projects discussed.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Roundup. No Rob today, so we are free to bash Rob and talk about his horrible takes on the pod. But no, I hope you guys have been enjoying having Rob. Rob is off, I think, to probably Token. I don't actually know where he is, but I think he's probably at Token. Santi and I are getting some real work done back home.
That's right.
Look at us in the button-down shirts.
I know, right?
What's going on?
Growing up, man. It only took us 5 years to just, wear. Maybe it's the state of the times. We just got to be more enterprise for blockchain.
I thought it's when the market is peak froth, you're supposed to wear t-shirts and hoodies, and then you go into a bear market and you're like, oh, I do have to appease to the suits,
All right. What is the most frothy, peaky thing you've heard this week?
Oh, okay. Two for you. Tether raising at 500 billion. I mean, it's a little frothy, and Nvidia investing 100 billion into OpenAI for, I think it was 10 gigawatts of data centers.
For me, it was an ETF on DATs. That was just felt it felt like credit default swaps, CDS squared, like Big Short.
Yeah.
God, times
I just rewatched The Big Short, actually.
Times like these, you gotta go watch that movie. I think I'm gonna be. You remember the scene when they're in Vegas and Michael Burry's, not Michael Burry, Steve Carell's like calling his trader and he's like sell. Short it.
Short it, yeah.
And I'm gonna go to Token next week. I might give you that call.
Short it. Let's talk markets, actually. So we started the week with the biggest liquidation cascade of the year, or in many years. I think at least definitely of the year. And I think it spooked a lot of people. People basically said, been kind of calling for the top. It feels frothy. Maybe this is the top. You've got some other very frothy things like those three things that we just mentioned, right? Tether's raising at 500. You've got every IPO that hits the market is just rips higher. How are you feeling about just the market and the cycle? And yeah, how are you feeling about things?
Tell you the truth, I haven't been able to look at that. I'm not checking my portfolio much, which is a blessing. I was on CNBC yesterday or day before, and then they asked me the same question. Q4 historically has been a good year, like a good quarter for crypto historically. Feels like September is always a bit choppy in the markets. But look, we had a rate cut that I think bodes favorable. The thing, people want to say, okay, what should you be monitoring if you want to trade this thing? ETF inflows, I think, are probably the primary barometer you want to be looking at. And that, I think, is just going to continue to be the main driver. How am I feeling about it? I'm not touching my portfolio. I still think that, so I was looking at like options, I think also are pretty indicative of what traders kind of are expecting. There's like pretty equal, like there's like 90K and 130K as key levels. I think traders just expecting volatility, but the reality is, like, dude, we've been in this cycle and it takes one tweet to rattle markets in a very big way. And I think we're just in that state. So I don't know if Bitcoin holds. I think we have alts running. The thing I'm most worried about, again, is just this stat stuff. I think it could just like get pretty messy really quickly, and I just don't like it. I'm just seeing a lot continued just nonsense in that department, and I think it's just a sign of the times.
Yeah. So you're not touching your portfolio. You're not selling anything. You're not buying anything new. You're not buying Aster.
No. So I missed that. We should talk about it. I feel, and I have for a while, that we are in the second half of the cycle. When I feel like I'm in the second half of the cycle, I want to consolidate into things that I feel good owning long term. Bitcoin, I feel very good at. So I am rotating when I have some spare time on the weekend, just selling stuff that has ran up quite a bit this cycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like Plasma just launch, you have Aster, you have, these are pretty big upticks. I mean, multi-billion-dollar valuations. Um, I want to buy stuff that has endured at least one cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, like the stuff that hasn't gone through one cycle, I think typically has the largest drawdown. And so, I feel very comfortable holding Bitcoin and I want to continue to rotate stuff into Bitcoin as I vest and stuff.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I actually just did I just did the consolidation because I was feeling the same way. Yeah, I was.
What were you most
Uh,
exposed to? What were your kind of your biggest wins this cycle?
I had a lot of Athena. So I actually sold all of my Athena. I sold. I had a bunch of Kaito from like the airdrop, and I had bought some more. So I sold Kaito. I'm really only holding 6. I sold all my fart coin. Yeah, like just a bunch of other random stuff that like you don't really realize through the cycle that you accumulate this stuff, and then you're like sitting on different stuff. So now I actually only hold 6 different coins now, which is Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, Hyperliquid, Avalanche, and Ripple. Actually,
Interesting.
yeah.
Why? Yeah. Should we talk about Athena and just double click there? Because look, the stablecoin thesis has been all the rage. You talked about Tether raising at $500 billion valuation, and then you have Circle, which I think they announced some interesting stuff this week around like reversible kind of transactions and whatnot. But I'm curious, like Ina, what drove your decision to sell that one versus hold on some of that kind
First
of.
off, I think Guy is probably I was gonna say not. I was gonna say single greatest executor in crypto right now. He. I don't know if it's single greatest, but he's top 5 right now. I think like very, very, very highly of Guy. It's just that sometimes, no matter how good of an executor you are, if you get caught on the wrong side of a cycle, uh, you're gonna be in for a nasty time for maybe an extended period of time, a year, 2 years, 3 years, however long it is. I believe very strongly in Guy and Athena on a long term horizon. I just think that like when to me the market feels extremely frothy, and I think you want to get. I think you want to just. I just feel safer sleeping at night when I'm in just like to me safer things. Like this doesn't feel like the time in the cycle to be exposed to maybe things that are further out on the risk spectrum. And I'd
Yeah.
say there's things like Fartcoin that are way out on the risk spectrum, but there are things like Athena that are maybe like medium term, where like I don't know, 2 months ago I felt great about holding it, even a month ago, and now I'm just seeing these things where, I mean, I saw a fundraise this morning with like a very notorious crypto scammer is on the deck, and it's like the people who are raising right now, the people who are actually they got 30 million of committed capital already. It's like these are
From
just
this from this startup.
signs of the times. Yeah, like this company that should never be raising in the first place, they're able to raise capital because of how frothy the market is. And I just see these little things, and I probably have PTSD because I didn't sell at the top in 2017. I didn't sell at the top in 2021. I'm probably gonna lose. People are gonna should hold. If you like Athena, you should just keep holding Athena, and like it'll probably go up because Athena's great and Guy's a great operator. But I'd rather be a little safer this cycle. I'm also,
Yeah.
I think, similar to you right now, spending more of my time on Blockworks than I've really ever spent. It's just
Mhm.
like 7 days a week. It's crazy right now, and I don't like the feeling of having trading getting like what should I be doing with these tokens getting in my head at all. um
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
No, look, it makes sense. I was just looking at the 7-day and 30-day performance of the top 100 crypto assets. Like some of the worst drawdowns here have been Pump had a big run up from 0.28, point 0.3 a couple weeks ago, up now to hit 0.9. Like, sorry, it hit like 9 billion. It dipped to 2, and then went to 9 temporarily, and it is now sitting at 5. So it's over the last 7 days gone down 33%. Hype has come down 28%. Pudgy Penguins 27%. Bonk down, WorldCoin down, even though it's up on a 30-day quite a bit, 40%. Wonder what that was driven by. Uniswap feels like everything's just getting chopped.
WorldCoin was a DAT. I think WorldCoin was Tom Lee saying that they're going to add WorldCoin to the Bitmine or something like that.
Oh, okay. And then
Yeah.
things that have performed quite well on a 7-day period, really just like a BitGo
Not much has
token.
done. Not much has done well
Not
on
much.
7 day. Yeah. No,
On the
everything's
30-day
down 7 day.
Yeah, it's interesting. So on the 30-day pump again, up 87%. Story, I know you guys had a conference, I think in Korea. It was up 50%. Immutable
Oh
provenance
my god! I
blockchain.
actually got
That's
to give a shout out to Story. We did this event with Story in Korea. I have never seen someone execute partnership deals like SY is the founder of Story. This guy is just. I've never actually seen someone execute it was like, I mean, K-pop Demon Hunters. Person who created K-pop Demon Hunters, like Baby Shark, like the Parasite, the director of Parasite. Like he is just doing deals left and right. Like the Wall Street Journal of Korea. Like I mean, the names that came to this event, we could never have. If you are an American going into Korea, you couldn't have gotten a single one of these names. There were like 30 of these names there. It was pretty remarkable to see.
Look, I paid attention to that. Like, I still don't understand what IP does. Like, what's a one-liner, two-liner of what this thing does? Like, they're putting blockchain, like IP rights on the blockchain.
I think probably the idea is like AI is going to train on all this. Well, this is maybe what they would say is like AI is going to train on all this IP, and right now they just steal it, and maybe you need a way to monetize it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I missed that trade.
The more interesting thing, so IP on the blockchain, I don't know if it's real or not. It's a very early thing, but SY gave an opening talk at the Origin Summit, and it's really not about IP on the blockchain. It's about Korea as a country, and I would really recommend people go listen to this talk on Korea. Here, I wrote down actually some of the stats as I was watching it. South Korea stats: second most paid ChatGPT subscribers in the world is South Korea. The number one's obviously the US. The second most paid ChatGPT subs is South Korea. More Korean won was traded against crypto than US dollars.
Yeah.
So more Korean won traded against crypto than USD. They have the number one YouTube video of all time, the number one boy band, the number one girl band, the number one rated movie in the world, the number one most viral soundtrack, the number one show on Netflix right now. Like Korea is
it's massive.
Yeah. Korea is very.
Dude, Terra.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's kimchi trade. If you have been in crypto,
someone sent me a video of like, it was like probably 400 people at this event, and they're all looking at a screen, and then it zooms in the screen, and someone's just perp trading. Like
yeah, that was I saw that, like they have esports, but like now perp trading.
It was nuts.
Yeah, it's a fascinating culture. I didn't make it out to Korea Blockchain Week. I was there last year. Been to Korea a couple times. Like, if you're in crypto, it pays to understand what's going on in Korea. It just is such an important market.
Yeah.
And has been historically. So yeah, that's interesting. Is there, are some of the chats like live talks there, like posted on YouTube? Like if people want to learn more about this summit?
Yeah, I think it might be on YouTube. It might be, just go on either Story or Blockworks' Twitter account, and you can see some of the videos. We did actually Blockworks live stream the whole thing, so just go to the front of the live stream. You should watch SY's talk. It was quite good. So Ansem had this tweet. He actually mentioned you guys. He said, let me pull this up. I don't know if you saw this.
No. Ansem has been quite bearish actually as of late. I think he's one of the guys.
Yeah, so I wanted to get your take on this. So he said, this is a bit of a longer thing. I'm going to read it though. He said, Doge is a good analog for this cycle. 2021 was batshit crazy with how high we pumped altcoins. COVID crash directly into never seen Fed-assisted economic stimulus. This cycle's been lower highs across the board for most alts, and liquidity has flowed elsewhere. I simultaneously believe that we've seen the peak of crypto price action driven purely on speculation about future growth, and also that we're entering the most bullish period for businesses augmented by blockchain rails. The revenue meta being a term is just a reflex is just reflective of how far distant from reality crypto markets have traded this past decade. The difficulties in determining how to get long this new trend. Two main drivers of majority of revenues in crypto: user willingness to absorb high fees because of how much speculation is present, efficiency of low cost of blockchain rails compared to traditional systems. We are near peak of the former, and we'll see more success stories focused on the latter. Solana has dominated both of these verticals and still think it's valued way too low comparatively to other assets. Also cool to see teams like Inversion that realize how transformative blockchain rails are, while also being pragmatic enough to realize that it may be more efficient to improve existing businesses with distribution rather than build everything from the ground up. Side note, is Ansem an investor?
He's not. He reached me. He DM'd me. I think I shared with him in the deck way back. I invested in his company, Bullpen. We've known each other for a while. And he DM'd me and said, "Hey, congrats, man. Like, this is, good to see you back in the, on the driver's seat or whatever." But no, I just retweeted this. So,
yeah. So to conclude, we can link this in the show notes, but to conclude, he basically said, I don't agree with rate cuts being the main driver for bull market continuation. It's also clear to me that we do not need lower rates for bull market price action, as we've seen with how high stocks and crypto performed since late 2022. It looks like stocks are parabolic, momentum slowing on crypto assets. We've entered a period of the most uncertainty we've had in a while with regards to the economy. I'm expecting lower over the next 6 months and higher into the back half of 26 through 28. Would flip bullish on crypto if Solana weekly closes at 250, bullish weekly closes above 120. Optimal strategy at the moment is to sit majority in cash and have an ape stack set aside for researching new launches and finding outliers with momentum and price action, like Pump, IP, and Aster. I want to bid 90K Bitcoin, 25 to 30 Hyperliquid, undecided in Sol and Pump. What are your thoughts when you read something like this?
Look, got to hand it to him. He's been fairly right on some of his calls, and I think Ansem is one of those guys that really is, pretty good trader. He's got really good calls. He had the Solana call right. I think he was, reasonably early on Hype and Pump, and trading around meme coins. So, the guy understands like the order book and flows and whatnot. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, to be honest. Like, I'm not as close on flows, but it does feel like the market wants to go lower. And in those instances, look, you either approach this two ways. You can't be caught in the middle. You're either a trader and are glued to the screen and like monitoring Ansem and accounts and, or you're not. Where you get slaughtered is like when you're just like in the middle and you try to be a trader and you try to be an investor, long-term investor.
I so agree.
Dude, it's like, don't tell me you're a long-term trader and you're refreshing CoinGecko every 5 minutes. Like, you've got it wrong.
Or you're flipping based on an Ansem tweet. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, and the other thing is like, you're not going to be an expert in all this stuff. So if we had a live stream right now and you asked everyone who missed Aster, you probably would have had like 80% of them just raise their hands like, "Oh, I missed it. I was late to the game." And then psychologically it puts you in such a bad spot because like the catch-up trades will kill you. Like, oh, I was late to the game, and then you buy Aster and it goes down 20%, and then you sell it and you buy back. I'm like, why don't you for a second just go look at Aster and go look at Hyperliquid and say, is there something real here? Am I willing to hold this thing for a year? And like, I just feel that like, how many people have you met that tell you, oh, I discovered this thing Bitcoin and ETH super early, and then I didn't make much of it, and then I bought it and then I sold it. I'm like,
yeah.
And then in hindsight, it's like you could have just like sat there, developed a thesis, re-underwrote that thesis, but like, just make up your mind. Are you going to be day trading this thing, or are you going to be holding it for 5 years? Don't change your mind. Like, just, but anyways, it never hurts to have cash. Like, are we going to see Bitcoin below 100,000? Yes. Like 90% confidence that we'll see it at some point below 90. And so if you feel overly exposed, maybe hold cash and be in a position where you're going to feel great buying it at 90 if you love the asset. But the problem is most people are overly exposed, right? And so if you're max long on something like Bitcoin at 106 or whatever, it goes down to 90, you don't have cash, B, you're going to be panicking thinking it's going to go down to 50 And so maybe just hold five. It's so psychological. Even if you have
or
like,
maybe just don't do anything and just hold your Bitcoin. Just don't touch your Bitcoin.
that is true.
I think that's honestly the best thing for 98% of people to do. Just don't touch your Bitcoin.
But dude, some of the people that I think have made the most amount of money is guys that I was telling at like 2014. Like Bitcoin's like a couple $100 or whatever. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
put a million, and they were family offices and was like, put $1 million. Do not touch it for 10 years. And
You
those
know
guys,
who I think did this? I was hearing about the other day. Do you remember the institutional case for digital assets by John Pfeffer?
John Pfeffer, yeah, the KKR guy.
John Pfeffer. John Pfeffer wrote the piece in 2017 that was like this PDF got passed around. It felt like the world. Like it was like everyone's reading this article. It's called "The Institutional Case for Digital Assets." I think it's by this guy John Pfeffer, Pfeffer, I think it is. And someone mentioned the other day, they're like, "Yeah, you should have just done what people should have just done what John did." It's like, "Oh, what John did?" He's like, "They're like, yeah, he wrote this piece, loaded up the stack, it did it in 2017." Market went down, bought more in 2018 and 2019, and then has just walked away from the industry basically and hasn't touched anything and has just ridden it from 3K, 5K, 7K up to 120. And he's sitting pretty.
I mean, that's sort of what I feel when you asked me earlier about what I'm doing in my portfolio. I'm now, because of inversion, taking a super long-term view on things that I just want to literally wake up in 10 years and say, okay, is this thing going to persist, endure? Is there durable stuff here? Other than Bitcoin, I don't know. I honestly don't know. And then the question is Bitcoin going to outperform the compounding of what you see in the stock market? And that's, I think, the point that Ansem is making here, which is I'm of the mind this cycle that it just, there's a couple of different dynamics here. You can get exposure to crypto through other instruments and other ways that were impossible in other cycles. And I think that has certain implications of how tokens actually behave.
Coinbase, Robinhood, Galaxy stock, Circle
Correct.
stock. Yeah.
One, the OPSEC, right? If you buy the ETF through a brokerage account, very different. I mean, of course, you have to trust like custodians and the setup of BlackRock and whatnot. But for most people, you know, when normies ask me, hey, what should I do? I'm like, honestly, go buy IBIT or something. Like do not, like, most people are not equipped to do it themselves. And so, but then, you know, I just, I don't want to get into the fundamental discussion, but like, is Ethereum worth 300, I don't know, what is it now? 340, 500 billion? What is it?
Oh God, I don't know, even want to go
It
here.
is, it is 400, is it 500 billion, 483 fully diluted. Is it worth that? Like, it was cranking out REV, and if you price it on that basis, what would you rather own, Tether or ETH? It's funny because Tether is now valued a bit more than
That's
ETH.
funny. Yeah.
Who had a nice tweet about Tether around, look, sign of the times? It's like, I think it was Tushar, if you want to pull up his tweet. He was tweeting something about Tether along the same lines of Circle, which is like these businesses, stablecoin issuers are, you know, some of them have more than others, but rates come down, that business gets impacted. Yeah, exactly. I think that was
yeah. So Tushar said Tether's raising 20 at 500. There's currently 173 billion of USDT outstanding. The market expects interest rates to average 3.6% over the next year, given the expected Fed cuts. This implies 6.2 billion in revenue for Tether. That comes out to a 77x multiple. Obviously, three threats to the sustainability of the earnings. One, lower interest rates means less revenue for stablecoin issuers. This is true for all of the stablecoin issuers, not just Tether. Two, post-Genius Bill, there are a lot more stablecoins coming to market with huge amounts of distribution, WhatsApp, Facebook, etc. You know, maybe would try to do it, things like that. And three, as the USDH discussion showed, this is the Hyperliquid conversation from a few weeks back, there's increasing pressure for crypto native stablecoin issuers to pass their interest income back to holders and developers. So, yeah, all good points.
Yeah. Who is do you have any insight into that round? Like, who would be giving them 20 billion? Like the Boz of the world, like, or like the same guys that invested in Binance?
I think you should look at the people who are investing in Binance. I think you should also look at the people who are investing in some of these mega OpenAI, NVIDIA type deals, these big data center type deals. And you should look at the capital partners behind those deals. And you should look at the connections to Howard Lutnick and Cantor, who is, by the way, just on a fundraising tear right now. I mean, Tanner, like you see these stats.
For crypto is like Cantor's like #1 by a countrywide mile.
Like we met with the Cantor guys, and they kind of walked us through a bit of their playbook of just like how they're doing these. Like they got the distribution into the webinars. The webinar converts into the lead list, converts into the one-on-one calls, into the dinner. Like they've got fundraising down better than anybody I've ever met. And I think Cantor took a bet and a risk on Paolo and Tether back in the years ago and banked them. And I think Cantor actually owns what 5% of 5%.
Well, I was thinking about that on the shower thought. Who had bought in Tether and had ownership in Tether, and there were times where, like, not long ago, like during the prior administration, where like they were flooding Tether, and I don't know if you had the capital. It's one of those counter signals, like you want to maybe, and this goes back to Ansem's point, is you want to bid when everyone is running the other way. It's like, and I think that's the bet that Cantor did. I mean, that is probably going to be single-handedly his best trade in his life.
Right.
Other than building Cantor from the ground up, right? But it's like 4% of this business. It's monumental. It's 40 billion.
Yeah.
No, 20 billion.
The raise?
Yeah, no. If he owns 4% of Tether.
Oh yeah, 20 billion.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, good for them, honestly.
Across 30 plus networks and 180 endpoints, Blockdaemon EarnStack unites staking and DeFi into a single institutional toolkit for crypto rewards. With multi-layered security, full asset control, and 24/7 support, Blockdaemon EarnStack is built for scale and regulatory clarity. Non-custodial staking and seamless DeFi access, all in one stack. Direct access to DeFi with no intermediate smart contract or vaults. To book a demo, make sure to click the link in the show notes or head over to Blockdaemon EarnStack to find out more. Thanks to Blockdaemon for making today's episode possible. The machine economy is here. Devices are monetizing data for their users all over the world. Tokenized robots are generating revenue for token holders. The first machine economy free zone is live in the Emirates, and it's all happening on Peaq, the machine economy computer. Head to peaq.xyz to find out how you can benefit from the age of automation, or click the link in the show notes to find out more. As always, investments in blockchain technology involve risk, terms, and conditions apply.
You've been following Aster, CZ?
I mean, yes. I missed it. I didn't put a position. Did you?
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, well, I mean, just maybe zooming out from like the price of the token of Aster, like what do you make of just, I mean, this is the first like real competition this market for against Hyperliquid.
Yeah.
What do you make of it?
Well, should we give a quick overview? I mean, it sounds like, look, CC at one point woke up. CC's back at the helm of Binance. And he, obviously you poke a bear enough and he wakes up, and obviously a lot of teams, probably Binance exchanges, but also crypto native teams like Solana saw Hyperliquid and what they did, and they want to do something about it. CC, being the phenomenal builder that he is, launched Aster in competition, and to capture that opportunity, it's deployed on BNB chain, and it's captured decent amount of volume.
I think others too, ETH, Solana, Arbitrum, I think, or is it just BNB?
No, you're probably right on that. But it's gotten decent amount of traction. A lot of other BNB chain tokens have rallied as a result.
It's gotten a lot of traction, you should say. It's gotten
it's got a lot of traction to the volume, for sure. It reminds me a lot when you had what was it? When Uniswap was all the rage, I think BNB responded with its own AMM, like DEX. What was that? PancakeSwap. And PancakeSwap had a ton of traction. What you need to remember is, by BNB, like the chain has all that distribution from Binance the exchange, which is the largest exchange in the world. And so, when Binance launches something, it immediately gets traction because it has the mind share, it has the distribution. Is it going to persist? I don't know. It would be interesting to look at like what PancakeSwap has done since, right? Like, Uniswap is still Uniswap. But yeah, something to, I don't know. It's too early to tell for me, but obviously impressive that they launched it, especially in a space where most other things haven't really gotten off the ground in the perp space,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if people remember PancakeSwap, so PancakeSwap, was that summer of 21?
Yeah, this was like peak DeFi summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was summer of 21. They ripped it. It hit like 5 or 10 billion in TVL, fell, got cut in half, then ran right back up to like 5 or 10 billion, and then just kind of like slow dragged down for years. And now I think it sits around like 2 or 3 billion of TVL. Aster is interesting. So Hyperliquid, I thought this chart by Hasib put this chart together, volume versus OI.
Yeah.
I can pull it up right here. You see this? This is the 24-hour volume and the open interest of the different perps DEXs. Hyperliquid, Lighter, Aster, EdgeX, Paradex, Orderly, Jupiter. So Hyperliquid and Aster, Hyperliquid did 5 billion in volume. Aster did 3 billion. But Hyperliquid had 15 billion of OI compared to Aster's 368 million. What do you make when you see those two numbers? To me, like I think I see this, I'm like, oh, someone's just washing a bunch of volume through Aster, but there's no real OI on it. But what do you make of this?
Yeah, I think so. So I don't know this. Do you know the only reason that the way you'd be doing that is for some sort of rewards, right? Like you're farming, and trying to get, a lot of times the airdrop is
I
determined.
mean, that's like most of the like EdgeX. I think EdgeX is going to have a big. I think it's one of the hot airdrop farming things right now. It's like, why is there a billion and a half of volume?
Yeah, I think open interest is a far more enduring and interesting stat here, and it's staggering, right? I mean, nothing really comes close to what Hyperliquid is doing. Yeah, because that relationship is pretty damning, right? I mean, what's that? 5 billion in volume. Yeah, that's 33%. That's like a third, and you have, very different dynamic with Aster. Yeah, that's one
Yeah.
tenth. Yeah, yeah.
Talk to me about it's funny. So Mike, I was talking to Mike months ago about Hyperliquid, and he's like, look, I don't.
Mike Plato,
Mike Ippolito, yeah, my co-founder, and he said, he's like, I'm not sure I see it. He's like, I get it, but like, he's like, I think people are too quick to forget that these perps. There's always the next great perps platform that's going to take on the sexes, and yeah, Hyperliquid seems like it's doing quite well, but like, he's like, I feel like everyone's forgotten like GMX and DYDX and like that we were just these things were just fighting, and then we moved on to the next one, and there's always the next one, and maybe shed some light on like 2020, 2021, DYDX, GMX, just like the long evolution of perp DEXs.
It's the holy grail, right? I've invested in a few of these. I looked at the round of DYDX, ended up passing, it was too expensive. I think 3 arrows left that round. It made sense, like CZ being like at the time, like one of the most, prominent like traders. And they were using it extensively. It was not a cheap round. And then GMX, I had a small position in that. It's a holy grail, right? It was like everyone, and the thesis is something along the lines of, perps are a killer product since, Arthur Hayes and BitMEX, right? They're the money makers for exchanges, and it's a super novel product. It should work on chain, and there's like a variety of reasons why they haven't really worked before. You could have pointed to like slow execution environments or high fees back in the day. Um, and then some sort of like internal stuff, like the team wasn't as competent. Um, and I think just, without diagnosing specific protocols, but like a lot of times, like if you were to talk to traders, like I remember looking at DYDX, a lot of there was very heavy concentration among certain traders. It wasn't as efficient to do it on chain. It hadn't been, I think, until Hyperliquid came around. And by the way, are you there? Because
Yeah, I'm here.
You're just further. Yeah, so I think it's one of those where like we talked about Polymarket last episode. I think in this case, as it relates to perps, you just have a much more different execution environment, low fees, which allow people to do it without, because a real comparison is traders don't really care whether you're doing it in a centralized exchange or a decentralized exchange. It's like, where do I get the best execution? And historically, execution on chain was nowhere near execution off chain.
Right.
And so you wouldn't do it on your right mind unless you wanted to play these airdrops or whatever. But Hyperliquid is actually just very novel. And it reminds me a lot of, you know, Hyperliquid, I think, cracked that nut in a very interesting way, in the same way that Curve way back in the day cracked the stablecoin swaps.
Yeah.
Like, and was like a key thesis. Ben and I, we were sitting there because, you know, Kevin, who runs the quant fund, was trading these stablecoins, doing like stablecoin arbitrage in the credit fund. And he's like, wait a minute, guys, like it's actually quite interesting. It is cheaper you get best pricing on chain through Curve than what you do with Coinbase. Like if you wanted to go from USDT to USDC. And that was like a huge aha moment for us at the firm. It's like, okay, like there's something here, because it's so rare to get better execution on chain versus off chain. And I think that's why I think Hyperliquid has worked. Now, someone here might say, wait a minute, like GMX was pretty good. What you need to look at when you're looking at Peaq is, how is the funder rate calculated? How is that being calculated? And are you getting good execution? And sometimes it's a function of liquidity is very low. So like when you talk about Haseeb's quote about open interest, yeah, if there's not a lot of OI, if it's not really, if you can't really trust the way the Oracle works on chain, like, you know, it's not going to be viable for traders, especially traders that put on big size. And so, anyways, that's my conclusion. I don't know if you're familiar with other perp dexes or why Hyperliquid really just worked the way it did.
No, I mean, people are looking at like people like Edgex and Lighter and stuff like that, but I don't know. I'm looking at the platforms right now. Like for the Aster pair itself, OI is 6 times higher on Hyperliquid, while the volume is 1 billion versus 2.5 billion platform versus platform. Like, I don't know. It seems like a lot of this volume is either just fake or wash volume or, yeah, I don't know. I think basically it's a CZ trade, right? I think that's it. I actually think this, as I'm looking at these things, like it has nothing to do with perps or Aster or whatever. It's like, see, how do you bet on CZ? And it's like,
I
if
mean,
you can, it's like Elon starting a new company. It's like, just take my money. Just like, I'm just gonna like put a blindfold on, just like take my money. It's like CZ is like starting a new thing. It's like, just take my money.
but
And I'm not.
at a time where BNB just hit an all-time high of crossed 1,000.
BNB, what did BNB ICO at? 10 cents, I think BNB ICO'd at. It's just hit $1,000, right? So you've got so many people have made. I mean, you and I know people have probably made 100 million off just BNB, right? Like there are people who have made so much life-changing money from just BNB and Binance. Like
BNB is a top 5 crypto asset, right behind Ripple, and quite ahead of Solana. And so I'm super impressive what he's done, and it really is just a reflection of the industry, right? And so again, you're not gonna you look at that, you either missed it or you made a lot of money. Either way, you're gonna support this project.
yeah,
The other thing that I wanted to just bring up is interesting this week as we think about big fundraise. You have bulk trade, um, just raised capital. It's a reasonably small round, 8 million. It was led by Robot and Six Man Ventures. You know, Six Man has been very active in
oh yeah,
Solana.
this was the trade anything. Did you do this one?
No, I didn't. I mean,
No.
indirectly through Six Man. But you know, you had really good, mostly the Solana cabal kind of investing in this. I think this is a response. This is Solana response to Hyperliquid.
Oh, interesting.
Just reading behind, totally was part of the round, and you had Big Brain and Six Man and Wintermute and some of the bigger guys. Look, for a while, Solana has tried to, you know, I think they were caught off sides with Hyperliquid, and they were thinking there and sitting there and saying, what happened? Because you had Drift,
Yeah.
and but it, you know, hadn't really gone to this, nowhere near the scale, and you haven't had a really good perp in Solana, and so this is, I think, the restart and an initiative, and so we'll see.
Yeah.
I think internally the Solana team is just, this is probably one of the biggest misses that Solana's had over the
Yeah.
last.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the thing they're most nervous about right now.
That's that's a better way to put it. They're
Yeah.
definitely very nervous, as is everyone else, about Hyperliquid and what they've done.
Totally. All right, let's talk IPOs and fundraises and things like that. So I put out a list of upcoming crypto. Did you see BitGo filed for BitGo filed
Yes.
their S1? Very interesting to read through. I love when these companies file their S1. You can read through, like, and you're like, oh, like that's how it works. So this is how much they're sitting on. So I thought it was really interesting.
Can we? This is a great list, but before we go there, okay, you're gonna go in BitGo. Didn't Galaxy have a like that transaction fell apart?
Yeah.
Okay, we should as we go through it and it prices, we should think about.
I mean
how much,
Galaxy had a deal to buy BitGo for I think it was $1 billion too.
Yeah.
In the last cycle, and then the market started turning, and I think Galaxy basically said we got to do anything we can do to get out of this deal. And I think that there was something in the acquisition, from what I've heard, that was like if they can pull out if they're not listed on Nasdaq at a certain point in time, and they weren't listed in Nasdaq, they're listed in Canada, and so that they were able to pull out. I think there was a 50 or 100 million bucks that changed hands in someone in like a part of the pullout deal or something like that. But yeah, anyways, they did not spend 1.2 billion. Now
No.
BitGo's IPOing. Do we have a price on it?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. Let's pull up the numbers. All right, Omar, looking through the BitGo filing, and the headline numbers benefit from some generous accounting. Digital asset sales and staking revenue are both done on a gross basis, i.e., when a client buys 10 million of Bitcoin, the full 10 million is reflected as revenue. Okay, this is what I was. I knew that number looked inflated, even though the net 2.5% in H1 is only 25K. Okay. So so client buys 10 million of Bitcoin. The net on that is 25K. They're booking 10 million of revenue.
Marginal, right? You got to look at the fees, right? And so
okay, so you can see the true net with the sales cost line item on a net basis, still impressive with 171 million of net revenue in H1 of 25, but 4% of the headline and far closer to the economic reality of the business. So really, so the business doing, so they 171 million of net revenue in H1, annualize that 342. Okay, so we've got a business. Okay, that's exactly in line with if you had asked me to project BitGo's revenue, I would have said somewhere between 300 to 400 million. So yeah, this makes a lot more sense to me.
What you need to look at when you do this analysis is that take rate of BitGo. In the same way that every analyst that is looking at Coinbase is thinking about the same thing, which is what is the difference between gross and net revenue? And that's going to give you an indication of what's the relationship with the clients, what's the spread, are they able to capture? Because what you don't want to see is, so say that the gross revenue, which is all the volume in the platform that they're custodying, is going to go up. Okay, fine. But maybe you have a compression because Fidelity and State Street and other folks are going to get into the custody game. So the percentage that they've been able to charge historically will come down as you have competitive pressures in the industry. And this is something that I'm intimately familiar, because when I have positions, like a lot of these projects, will custody in either BitGo or Coinbase or Anchorage, the pricing of some of these platforms is not very competitive. And BitGo, I've had very good experience with. Some of the other platforms, their pricing is just a bit off, and I just don't think it's sustainable, to be honest. And so those are kind of, you just need to spend a little bit more time looking at that it's a take rate number effectively. Marketing platforms, same deal. Hyperliquid, same deal, right? You're going through a ton of volume, ton of custodied assets. What's the take rate of this business? That's the main KPI of these type of businesses.
Yeah. It sounds like they're IPOing, and I mean, I think we'll get it in October, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. I don't think they've listed a range there, but thinking through, what's their EBITDA number? You know, off the top of your head? I'm gonna make a pretty
like flat, I think.
Well, no, but what's their like just a gross like EBITDA? Like, is it 100 million? 50 million? Probably 100.
Here, hold on.
Because you said 300 million of revenue.
That's it. Expenses of 2.5, loss from operations, net income. No.
Okay, yeah. Well, EBITDA will be heavily adjusted in this case. Because this is not gonna trade on a PE basis. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh,
115.
here we go. Adjusted EBITDA. I got it in their S1. 2022, 8. They lost 8. Okay. 2022 is 8 million. 2023 is negative 29 million.
You got to look at his 6.8 in the first half of 20. I'm doing this live. 2025. I'm going to run rate that. Generously going to run rate that. This
Sure.
business maybe going to
12
do 13 to 15, less than 20 million of EBITDA for the full year of 2025. So their guidance, maybe next year, you're generous. You say, God, this business, I don't know, going to do 30 million of EBITDA on a forward
Yeah.
basis. And what's figure and trading at? Like Coinbase trading at? I guess Coinbase is probably the better analogy here. I'm going to ask chat. What's Coinbase out trading at? Like 60, 70 billion? Okay. 300. Yeah. That's Coinbase forward EV to EBITDA multiple 24 times. Okay. I wasn't that off. So anywhere between 20 and 30 times. So if this business generously, remember folks, it did 6.8 million in the first half of the year, maybe does 15 if you're aggressive. The second half is going to be greater, right? Maybe next year it doubles. So it's going to do 30 times 24. This is going to be surely not a 720 billion enterprise value business. Sub a billion?
No. Above a billion. This thing will trade higher than the billion.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Look, let's just get these facts straight. You're telling me EBITDA was 6 million in the first half of 25. Did we get that right?
Yeah. So we're annualizing it and giving them a little bit of a bump to 15.
15. They're gonna more than double.
EBITDA,
Second half of the year, 15. Next year they're gonna double it.
Sure. 30.
Let's just say 30. Maybe it's 40. You need to believe that this business, if it's going to trade in line with Coinbase, by the way, and it's going to crank out 40 million of EBITDA next year, which, by the way, big uncertainty as we thought about macro and stuff and competitive pressures in the industry. And if it trades like 25 times, which is Coinbase forward EV to EBITDA now, it barely cracks a billion. This might be the smallest. What was Gemini? Smallest IPO of the Coinbase, of the crypto names that have gone public. I figure was at 6 to 7. Circle, obviously, much higher than that. And it's certainly run up. Gemini, what was Gemini? What's Gemini?
Gemini's trading at 3 billion.
Gemini EV to EBITDA. Let's go. Let's do this. Sometimes these things don't trade on, but
I don't think Gemini is profitable.
Really, there's always, sir. You will always
adjust.
Well, you will always adjust EBITDA such that it is a great number. Okay, Gemini Space Station, not Gemini. What's the ticker for Gemini?
No, it is Space Station. It is Space Station.
Gemini, wow, that's great. Gemini Space Station is trailing 12-month EV to EBITDA is 32. Oh, negative 32. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm saying. We're not in the market. That's what I'm saying. You're trying to fundamental analyst this thing. Like Gemini's trading at $3 billion market cap with a EV to EBITDA ratio of negative 33x.
Gemini, you're right, is 4.7 billion EV. 4 to 5. Okay. I might just have mid-curve that. But look, honest to God, as I was doing that exercise, it's
a good exercise to do. Yeah.
We should do more of these live exercises. You got to do quick. Okay. It just tells you everything we're in the cycle. It's a great way to probably end this discussion of, back to Ansem's point. It is frothy. I'm sorry, but like Gemini at 5 billion, and it's not a profitable thing. I don't want to own it. I wouldn't want to touch it. As much as we're like going to the moon or whatever. It's something that I've said before, which is I think more value is going to be captured of this industry in other names that are going to integrate this technology. Man, Western Union. Go look at Western Union. EV to EBITDA. I'm going to do this slide. They're like deeply unsexy businesses that are trading at distress multiples, and then there's like a very big divide of
Western Union's out here at
2-3 times.
Western Union's got a PE ratio of 3.
I'm gonna go call Ackman or the Elliott guys.
Wow, this thing's trading horrendously right now.
Distressed steel mill operators in like the last century were trading at 8 times P ratio. This thing has been left for dead. I'm way more excited looking at like businesses that are deeply overlooked than punting something at 20, 30, 40 times forward EBITDA baked on the most aggressive assumptions that bankers are going to peddle on the fucking, marketing materials. I'm like, you need to believe that like EBITDA, you can buy businesses, by the way, for 3 times, 4 times, 5 times EBITDA, 10 times EBITDA. I remember even in good times, like investing in enterprise software with contracted revenue, durable businesses, and you're saying they're like, you're paying 10 times, 12 times. There is nothing contracted of these businesses. Like, dude, assuming that a business is going to double next year and giving it a super lofty multiple, I don't care how bullish and how excited. I mean, you and I don't need more bullishness than any, you know what I mean? Like, we're skew very, very bullish. I wouldn't buy it at 20, 30 times forward EBITDA because there's just so many stacked assumptions of this business. Go buy a fucking business at 10 times EBITDA, do the work. But I'm just saying I get more excited about this Western unions of the world that are deeply overlooked.
Across 30 plus networks and 180 endpoints, Blockdaemon EarnStack unites staking and DeFi into a single institutional toolkit for crypto rewards. With multi-layered security, full asset control, and 24/7 support, Blockdaemon EarnStack is built for scale and regulatory clarity. Non-custodial staking and seamless DeFi access, all in one stack. Direct access to DeFi with no intermediate smart contract or vaults. To book a demo, make sure to click the link in the show notes or head over to Blockdaemon EarnStack to find out more. Thanks to Blockdaemon for making today's episode possible. The machine economy is here. Devices are monetizing data for their users all over the world. Tokenized robots are generating revenue for token holders. The first machine economy free zone is live in the Emirates, and it's all happening on Peaq, the machine economy computer. Head to peaq.xyz to find out how you can benefit from the age of automation, or click the link in the show notes to find out more. As always, investments in blockchain technology involve risk, terms, and conditions apply.
IPO list of who's coming next. Here's my watch list. 2025 BitGo and CoinShares. CoinShares is like a Galaxy of Europe. They're doing a SPAC.
Is it going to list on the Nasdaq or in like London or whatever?
Maybe London. I don't. Or no. Maybe the States. I don't know actually. 26. BitHum, Kraken. I think Ripple will IPO. Uphold's doing like similar to BitGo, 250 to 400 million top line. I think. Chainalysis, FalconX, Bitpanda, Grayscale. I think IPOs and Ledger.
Yep.
27. I've got Consensus, Anchorage, Fireblocks, OKX, Crypto.com, Bitvavo, MoonPay, Blockchain.com, Uniswap Labs. Some of these guys from 26 will go in 27. Some of them like in 27 will go in 26. But yeah. Who of these, you have to pick 3 that you're buy and hold for the next 5 years. Who are you buying and holding? Public markets, companies, Anchorage, Fireblocks, Uphold, Kraken.
God damn. I mean, it depends on the price, man. I don't know. Can't tell me. I'm sorry, but if I don't know the price, I can't give you an answer. It's like the price dictates your return. This is the point I'm trying to make. I don't care how bullish you are on the business model. If this thing is trading at like 70 times or 100 times or negative 50 times EV to EBITDA, I'm not touching that. I mean, I remember my mom one day is calling me, I want to buy Amazon because I'm using it all the time. I'm like, okay, everyone thinks like that. What's it priced at? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So even you can buy a great asset at a terrible price and it's going to be a terrible investment. You could buy a dog shit asset at a great price and it's going to be a phenomenal returner. I'm telling you, Western Union at 2 times PE, that Western Union will not go out of business. And this is something that like, this is something, a framework that I've adapted now is like, as much as if you love technology, I think the market is like, has this starry-eyed version of technology and gets super excited about AI and all this stuff. Crypto now again. And because of that, you then say, it's easy to just do the lazy analysis and say, all these businesses, like creative destruction, they're going to be going out of business. Newspapers, they're all going to go out of business, right? And you're sitting there probably saying, you're hearing the Collison brothers say, stablecoins are room temperature semiconductors. They're going to totally borderless finance, blow up businesses. And then the lazy thing is like, oh, Western Union, remittances, they're going to go out of business because stablecoins are going to eat their lunch. And you're like, yeah, go talk to smart stablecoin guys and people that understand payments. And they'll tell you one thing, which is you still need connectivity to the real world.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you folks, Western Union has a lot of connectivity in the real world. It has a moat that's not gonna go away. It's mispriced. That's all I'm saying. It is not a recommendation. I'm not telling you to buy Woo.
Why are we talking so much about Western Union here?
Dude, because
you know what we should be talking about? Cloudflare.
okay,
Cloudflare.
let's have fine. I'll end my rant here.
I'm done hearing about Western Union. I was in a
I'm
cab.
more
I was
excited
in a
about
cab the other day. This Western Union support team was just ruining this cab driver's day, and I was like, I don't like Western Union.
Yeah, but I get more excited about a business trading at 2 times EV to EBITDA.
I get it.
I'm trading at 30. That's all I'm saying.
Cloudflare is so Cloudflare sits basically behind the whole internet. A lot of things are built on top of Cloudflare. They introduced Net Dollar, which is a new US dollar backed stablecoin that will enable instant secure transactions for the agentic web. Little unclear how they did this. Actually, Rob said had a nice tweet. He said Cloudflare not announcing their issuing partner is weird. Could it be that it's a partner who is not yet public? Maybe a white label product that someone like a large bank or Circle are launching and they aren't ready to announce yet. But yeah, very interesting to see Cloudflare launch. This is the first like big tech company I'd say to launch a stablecoin that I can think of. And I think it will open the floodgates for many, many, many more.
We said it before. Stripe doing it with Tempo just has opened the aperture here of companies exploring this in a very meaningful way. We should, if there's anyone Cloudflare wants to come on, would love to have you guys on. My bet is on Paxos probably like doing the backbone infrastructure here, or like someone like Anchorage, right?
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Who's doing a lot of the Genius Act? What's the first Genius Act compliant stablecoin? Is that like Athena's?
I think Anchorage is doing a lot of these from what I've heard because they, with their acquisition of Mountain Protocol.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's probably Paxos or Anchorage or combination. I don't know if it could be a combination, but that's where I would
Yeah.
guess. What does this do, by the way, just on this point? Like what does this do? Okay, if you're a stablecoin issuer, if you're like, or you're a lot of these crypto native projects like trying to like build in this space. I've invested in a number. I think you have invested in others. Like when you see this, aren't you like super nervous? You see like Cloudflare or Stripe, or JP Morgans of the world, like large companies trying to adopt this technology.
Dude, I don't know because it's like I was talking to some people who were at the actually annual exec planning of JP Morgan, and it was last week basically, like their whole budgeting for 2026 meeting. And without sharing too much, half of the conversation supposedly was about crypto and stablecoins, and it's like, yeah, these big companies do set their plans for the next year, months ahead. And you've got a bunch of companies sitting there basically planning for 2026. Anyone from Stripe to JP Morgan saying like, what's our plan for 2026? I don't know, AI and crypto. So
is crypto going to make the cut for this budgeting, like AI and crypto? Is that?
I think it will. Now, what could happen is, like prices go down and things still get built. But
well, that's what I'm saying, because if you've set the budget for the year, this is the point that I made before. It's like companies are not going to make a decision to build in this space because Solana went down 80%. I think we're past that. I think the tech is sufficiently viable from a regulatory perspective that companies are now going to credibly deploy and not just sit on pilots, because it's going to pump their, like the Long Island teas. I think that era is gone. I think now if JP Morgan is like now committed, by the way, they have a massive team and they have the muscle and they have the resources and they're committing for next year. Doesn't matter if it's a bull or bear, they're just going to deploy, right? In the same way that like companies have adopted, Excel and CRM and stuff like that, no matter the micro environment. So yeah, I mean, look, it's open source technology, and so I don't know if there's been any updates on Tempo. They came out with a pretty interesting ecosystem tweet. There was a lot of really good, a lot of interesting companies there. That's the latest I saw, but that, to me, that's one that I'm paying a lot of attention. Like, can Tempo be it's almost like on left side is Tempo, like enterprise chains, and then on the right it's like codexes of the world that are trying to be just crypto native ground up. I don't know who wins. Is there a opportunity for both? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, there were two interesting fundraisers. Archetype venture fund raised 100 million. Also, Zerohash raised 104 million. at over $1 billion valuation from Interactive Brokers and I think Morgan Stanley, or maybe they're just integrating with Morgan Stanley. But actually, it was very this was the second order thing was more interesting. Morgan Stanley's stock jumped like 2% on the news that they're going to roll out crypto through Zerohash. So maybe a sign of the times. But yeah, shout out to Zerohash, shout out to Archetype. I think this will start to be the norm moving into Q4 is these mega $100 million raises, $200 million raises. I think a lot of the actually Series C and D companies that raised in 2021 at these crazy valuations that we've talked about for years and years and years, they're actually finally now able to raise at valuations that are roughly similar to what they raised at in 21 and 22. So I know a lot of these founders who run crypto companies that were valued at 3 billion or 4 billion or 5 billion, but they can't IPO yet. And now they're actually raising again at similar valuations. So I think I will have been wrong on this. I said that they would never get back to their valuations, and I think I'm going to be proven wrong, which is great.
I mean, to be fair, I'm seeing a lot of inbounds, like traditional allocators, sub 10, 50, 100 billion allocators just want to deploy, and these are probably the same people that are like looking at Tether and looking at some of these names for pre-IPO kind of rounds. And so I think, look, there's a lot of capital out there, and that capital is now wanting to direct and get more exposure to crypto. And no surprise, but someone probably says, wait a minute, why didn't we invest in Circle pre-IPO? Why didn't we invest in, Figure? Why didn't we have exposure to these things? They're performing very well. So, they want to put size and you can get it in some of these companies.
Yeah. Last thing of the week is Plasma just went live. It's trading at, I think it
8 billion.
Yeah, it's priced at over $1 now. It's priced at 105. I'm sure that'll change throughout the day, and by the time you're listening to this, it'll be too late. But yeah, I mean, this is just another thesis of like what can get bid will get bid. Like the main attention things, if you can bid them, they will get bid.
So Plasma, interesting. It is we talked about it on the last pod. It was the pre-market. Poly market was like 6 billion. It's currently at 10. But remember, I think your point is, let's see where it is next week. Like pump, obviously, it was came down quite a bit. So there's a lot of vol in the first 30 days of these things. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
but shout out to them.
Yeah, content of the week.
Yeah, want to go?
Yeah, you go.
Well, speaking of Korea, there's like this Netflix show of basically, what's it called? They're like trying to manufacture like a K-pop from scratch, and they're documenting the journey. And I've been watching, I've seen like 2-3 episodes now, but it's like they're casting, and it's they'll select people from like TikTok and socials, and then they'll put them together and they'll train them for a year. And it's like the main studio and directors from Korea that like have mastered the K-pop theme and like what's that Gangnam Style and all that. Like I think it's K-pop, and they like combine it with like LA Hollywood people, and they're trying to like create like the next star band, and like and I think there's going to be multiple seasons, but it's kind of pretty neat to see that inside world of like
what's it called?
I forget, man. It's on Netflix. Korea. I'm just gonna say K-pop Netflix series. Oh, I don't even know, man.
All right, we'll find it. People, that's part of the hunt. All right, I got one. I also have a Netflix one, which is
Popstar Academy.
Popstar Academy?
Yeah, Popstar Academy thing.
Popstar
K-pop training program. Yeah, aspiring pop stars. A K-pop training program.
Dude, I have a great Netflix show. It's called America's Team: The Gambler and His Cowboys. It is about
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones, baby. Jerry Jones. Oh my God. I love Jerry Jones after watching this. It is the
How
best.
good is he?
He's a savage. He's a savage.
Jerry Jones is not trading fart coin. The man.
Dude, I'm like, I love this man. This guy's a legend. I know Jerry Jones, like the old NFL owner. I don't know the young Jerry Jones or the story. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, he's what I've heard actually. So I've like, I've now since watching it, I've messaged some people who know Jerry Jones. I'm like, what is there to learn about like his life? Like, tell me, like, him, like, tell me about his life. They're like, there's nothing to learn from him. He has bet everything in his entire life. He's bet the farm more times than anyone else. and he just wins every time, they're like, you shouldn't take any lesson away from Jerry Jones. They're like, he's just a savage.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? The opening scene for I was captivated by his first episode.
Oh,
which
the
was
music is so good too. Yeah.
he made some money on this is like Yellowstone, but like real life. Like he made money on an oil well in Oklahoma, in Tulsa. I think he's from Arkansas.
Yeah.
He made like $100 million. He parlayed all of that stack into buying the Dallas Cowboys. And like the first couple of weeks of ownership is just crazy. And I remember the scene of where he's
They
talking
went
to
1-15. He fires like one of the most legendary coaches of all times. Like
he's like
crazy.
the nemesis of Dallas. It's crazy. But man, incredible story. Yeah. For all you degens out there.
I also liked it. So when I was 18, I was just like, I'm never working a 9-to-5 job. Like I hate this. And like, I was seeking mentors basically. And I found these two, there's a guy named Zig Ziglar, who was he was like a 1950s, 60s, like 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, like sales guy who was like, he's basically like the Tony Robbins of the 1950s. His name is Zig Ziglar. And I listened to hundreds of hours of Zig Ziglar when I was like 18 and 19. And I hadn't thought about that name in like 10 years. And Jerry Jones goes, look, when I was a teenager, I listened to Zig Ziglar. I was like, that's my guy. Let's go. Dana, I was with Dana. I was like, Zig Ziglar. She's like, who, like, what are you talking about?
He just looked at you with the strangest face.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, everyone go watch that. It is just
Yeah, it's great.
Phenomenal life story, and honestly, amazing what he's been able to do.
Yeah. So
is that like the most valuable NFL franchise right now? Probably.
I think it's the most valuable sports team in the world. Yeah. Most valuable sports teams in the world. Let's see. Yeah, Dallas Cowboys, $10 billion. $10 billion.
To be
for the 9th straight year in a row. And so it's Cowboys. The Golden State Warriors are number 2. That's interesting. The Rams, the Yankees, the Knicks, the Pats, the Giants, the Lakers, the Jets, the Niners, the Raiders.
Just because it got traded recently.
It's basically NFL, the Yankees, but NFL. It's mostly NFL, some NBA and MLB, and then Real Madrid is number 12, and Man U is number 14.
Surprised no Formula One's there. Like collectively, Formula One is, I think, Saudi. Sovereign.
The league is the size of the
league,
size of these teams. The league, they just got bought for what, $5 billion, I think it was.
Liberty Media bought it for like
no. I think F1 just sold
to Saudi guys.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Bernie Ecclestone sold it for $3 million.
No, excuse me, I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Oh no, there were rumors. There were rumors that they were bidding on it, but they're not.
No, McLaren. I think the McLaren team sold.
Oh, interesting.
I think
that's
so.
Great. Amazing. Anything else, man?
That was great. We have Mike Novogratz episode dropping on Monday. It was good. He's a stud.
Yes, yeah. We will. The next up, are we recording? When are we recording live? Is this DAS in London?
Maybe.
Probably. Rob and I might do a intimate recording and token.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get the hotel recording, run it back. All right, folks. Thanks for listening. Good hanging with you guys. See you on Monday for Novogratz, and Santi and I'll be back next week. Peace.
Right. Thank you, guys.